Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And today is the 35th anniversary of Predator 2, November 21st. And for today, I've saved something special, because we're taking a look at the Neca Predator, the original version. This released back in 2011, based on his appearance from Predator 2. So, to get things started, let's take a look at the box. Alrighty, here we have the box. That's not really a box, but I'm still going to call it that because I don't really care. We got the outside bubble and whatnot, but there's not really much on here to talk about, so we're just going to move right on to the back card. You got the head of the main Predator from the second movie, name, Predator, you got a cityscape and whatnot, pretty much the same as before. You got the back, which is a little different. You get a nice image of the Elder Predator. You got his name, you got what it comes with, you got some aliases. You got a bio here. If you want to pause and read that, you can do so. You got other figures you can get. Some symbols that I still have no idea what they say, and that's pretty much it for that. On to the figure! Alrighty, here we have the Elder Predator, the leader of the Lost Tribe. And my goodness, he is looking fierce. So, start off, we'll take a look at articulation. The head is on a ball joint. You can look a little bit up, look a little bit down. You get some tilting in there. You can look all the way around. Now, for some reason on my copy, the head does have a tendency to very easily pop off the ball joint. Yeah, it pops off really, really easily, so that's kind of annoying. But hey, you get to see the actual joint and what that looks like. So yeah, it just plugs in and the ball joint is actually in the neck. So, yeah, now you know how the joint works. But yeah, it pops off a little too easily, for my taste. The arms can go about that far out because of the armor bits. Let's see if this one can go a little bit further. Nope, that one actually goes out much less than the other one. That's, oof. Yeah. The arms, however, can go all the way around. Oh, but you don't want to do that with this one because of the tube, but this one's already broken on mine. See, I do be careful when moving this arm because there are some tubes here that are attached to it. So that one actually can't go all the way around unless you break the tube, which I did, unfortunately. Anyways, yeah, you do have a rotation at the elbow, which again, be careful of the tube. You also have a pretty limited bend at the elbow. Also, be very, very careful with the elbows because unfortunately they have a tendency to break on this figure. So yeah, just be very careful of that. The wrists are on a ball joint, so you can get some up and down, a bit of that, you can rotate all the way around and all that. Now he is supposed to have a waist swivel, but for some reason mine is super tight and it just doesn't move, and a little too afraid to break it, so I don't want to try and stress test it. We're just going to move on to the legs. The hips are at an angle, so they can kick out that way. You do get a thigh rotation, which, dang it, keeps trying to move the upper bit. So yeah, you get a thigh rotation. That's cool. This thigh armor is only connected to the lower bit, so it doesn't get in the way. So that's nice. Just line up the netting there, so it looks a little better. Does have a bend at the knee, which unfortunately is also very limited. You get rotation at the knee, ankle, sort of ball joint, so you get some nice movement there. So yeah, articulation is very limited on this guy, but this is a older NECA figure, and they weren't really focused on articulation back then. So yeah, it does unfortunately show its age in that way. But we can then move on to the details, because we're done with articulation. That was a very weird segue. Anyways, so we take a look at that nice, mean predator face. Come on, focus in there. There we go. There you go, his eye. Red with a yellow iris. You can see it a little better with this one. There you go. See, yeah, you get the nice predator mandibles, and you get this little piercing, which actually is movable. That's really cool. I really like that little detail. You got the predator mouth, which is detailed. You get the whole figure is cast in like this grayish kind of color to signify his age. You got the armor over on this side, which looks nice and worn, torn. You got like some battle damage on it. You got the tubes and whatnot. You got a whole bunch of just straps and necklaces and whatnot all over this guy. You got this one with a whole bunch of little tiny animal skulls, and then you got this one in the middle. You got the arm mounted bomb thing. You got the hands, you got a closed fist in this one. And you got the other arm, which is different. You got the wrist blades, which can extend, and I love that. I love that they actually, that wasn't English, that they can actually extend and you don't have to like swap them out with other pieces. That's really cool. Although I do wish that this hand was also a closed fist, because the blades don't go that much past the fingers. It's a little minor detail that bugs me. Also, these are pretty dang sharp, so be a little wary of that. Yeah, everything that looks sharp in this guy is, which I like that. And you got a whole bunch of belts. You got a skull there. You got a sheath for the blade, we'll talk about later. You get some thigh armor. You got the shin armor. All nice and battle damage. Then you get big old predator feet with some sandals on. You at the bottom, you got some holes. You want to plug them into a stand. You got dreadlocks, which most of them are individually sculpted. These three are kind of connected together at this gold bit here. And they got this nice, like, bluish kind of look to them. So I guess as predators age, their dreadlocks turn blue, I guess. I don't know. You got the back, at the place where the shoulder cannon goes, which, again, we'll talk about that later. Get a little back flap. So, yeah, overall, while the articulation was a little disappointing, the details are fantastic on this guy. He looks spectacular. I really, really do like the look of this figure. As I've said in other reviews, when it comes to the details, Neca usually knocks it out of the park, and they really do. He looks fantastic. Also, I just really like that you can do this. That's so cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the figure. Now we can move on to his accessories, and he's got a few of them. First up, we got the shoulder cannon, which does come separate out of the box. You get a look at that, and that's pretty cool. You got this bit which can go up, and the top of it is on a ball joint, so it can move all the way around. Look up, look down. So it's pretty cool. And the way to assemble it is pretty easy. It's a bit easier if you remove the head, but it is possible with the head still attached. We'll just make sure all the dreads are out of the way. Make sure you can actually see what I'm doing. So you got a little hook here that's going to go into that. Just hooks. And then there's a little tab Can't really see it. Hang on. There you go. You can see there's a little tab there. It's going to go into that slot there. And just tab it into place. And just take some dreads, kind of drape it over it so it looks a bit more natural. There you go. Now he's got his shoulder cannon mounted on his shoulder. And that looks very nice. He also comes with his cutlass. I think that's how you say that, which is like a type of blade that pirates were known to use. My camera will focus in on it. Come on now, camera. There we go. It's a little bit better. You got the nice blade, which again, a little pointy. Got the handle, some wraps on it and stuff. Got a little bone at the bottom. That's pretty cool. And he can, in fact, hold it in his hand. Just slide it in there. There you go. Have the Predator handheld blade, and that looks very, very nice. Now, if you don't want him holding the blade, he does have a sheath that we mentioned earlier. And it can just slide right on in there. And, ooh, that's satisfying. Anytime a bladed weapon can actually be sheathed on a figure, oh, I'm happy. I'm a happy man. I love that. That looks so good. And then finally, we have probably the most infamous accessory. The flintlock. Yeah, we got the gun he gives to Danny Glover's character at the end of the movie. And this looks pretty cool. It's got some nice engravings on it. And it actually does have the words. Hang on. Come on, fling it. Come on, camera. Work with me. It actually does have the words from the movie. You can see this is the year. It says 1715. It's not very well molded in there, but it is molded in there. It just kind of looks like squibbles on the camera, but it is there. This is kind of hard to read with such a small thing, but that's really cool if they actually put that in there. You can just slide it in right there on one of his belts. And you can't really hold it, at least not in the way you would want him to, but he can hold the barrel like that. And give you the gun like he did Danny Glover's character. So that's pretty cool. But I like it just tucked in his belt like that. I think that looks quite nice. Overall, the figure is quite nice. He is pretty neat. So, with all the accessories and whatnot covered, we should move on to the size comparisons. So, to start things off, as always, here it is with a Lego minifigure. With the Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra. The Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. Right down to some more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the reaction figures Predator. Yeah, tiny little guy. Here it is with the NECA Aliens Xenomorph Warrior from 2013. It looks pretty cool. And here he is with the other two members of the Lost Tribe that I've looked at already, Stalker and Snake. And you can see he's actually a little bit shorter than them. It's interesting. Yeah, they look pretty dang cool together. Alrighty, now that that's done, it's measuring time! Put measuring tape right against the character, and you see he is pretty much 8 inches right on the dot. Although it doesn't look like it on camera for some reason. The angle makes him look shorter. He is exactly 8 inches tall. Alrighty, and that is pretty much it for the figure. And overall, he's not too bad. I do quite like him. He is a bit limited due to his age and Yeah, they kind of, all the other Predator figures I've looked at kind of have that same issue. It's like, looking at these older figures really makes you realize just how far NECA has come when making their Predator figures, because their newer ones blow these out of the water. Gotta get me some newer Predator figures. Update my collection. But anyways, yeah, but for what he is, he's not too bad. You know, if you want just like a cool looking display piece, then this figure, he's not too bad. And if you did want this figure on eBay, it's going for around $50 out of the box and $70 to $100 brand new in the box. So yeah, pretty dang expensive, which is unfortunate. So yeah, overall, do I recommend this guy? Actually, no, I don't. Reason being is because with him being so expensive on the aftermarket, you just don't want to take that gamble because, like I mentioned earlier, his joints have a tendency to break. Yeah, because apparently this was made during a time when NECA's quality control was not very good. Apparently they switched where they made their figures, and now, now the figures are a lot better, but back in this time, they not so much. So yeah, it's a real gamble if you're gonna get one that's just gonna snap the minute you get it out of the box. Because I've heard stories of people getting like having to get 3 copies of this guy because the first 2 kept breaking. So yeah, with that in mind, I don't recommend it. I mean, thankfully mine is fine. Like, I've had this thing for years, several years actually, and nothing has broken on them, except for like the tubes, but whatever. But it's just, you don't know which one you're gonna get, you know? So, yeah. But if you do really like this design and you want to get a figure of can't speak. If you do like this design and want to get a figure of it still, don't worry. NECA actually made 2 other versions of this guy. They made an updated version that released in Wave 12, I think, and they made an Ultimate version, like they did with Snake and Stalker, which I think pretty much every member of the Lost Tribe got an Ultimate version at one point. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, just get one of those ones. It's the same design, just, updated figure. So more articulation, and he's not going to break on you, so that's nice. Anyways, I think that is all I have to say. So, hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.